Thank you. Joining us now is Seth DeMoor, who has traveled the country on his bike to hear 1 billion stories. Seth, always such a pleasure to see you. How you doing?
Good to see you, too. I'm doing well. It's great to be in Boston.
Well, you know what's interesting? So we had you on This Is the Day a little while ago.
A little while back.
And I remember saying to you at that point, well, we're going to have you on again. And next thing you know, now you're here for a week. We're doing a series. And I am really excited. I know Father is too excited about it because it's going to be great. But why don't you first of all tell us about your bike pilgrimage?
The actual pilgrimage.
Yeah, the actual pilgrimage.
I cast out into the deep about a year ago, actually. In fact, 1 year ago, I was in New Orleans for Mardi Gras on my bike ride across the country. And so what I did is I left Orlando, Florida, January 3rd with my bike, my laptop, my video camera, casting out in hopes of gathering as many inspiring stories from anyone who's willing to share their story and their Catholic faith with me on camera. And so if I have a 5 seconds to pitch it to someone, I call it a Catholic YouTube. And that's really the mission, is to go global and spread it to millions of people through the internet. Because as you know, Pope Benedict now has a YouTube channel, and there's 2 billion internet users around the world every day now. So the opportunity to share the faith with millions of people and billions of people is at our fingertips. So that's what I did. I cast out from Orlando, and it took me 3 months to get back to Denver, 2,400 miles. It was the coldest winter in 50 years in the South. And I gathered about 300 stories over 3 months. And, you know, I put up a new story every day to the website, 1billionstories.com. And so a lot of people ask me, why is it called 1 billion stories? Well, the first piece, stories, Christ used parables to teach. So why not use the modern-day stories of everyday Catholics to share the faith, but also the 1 billion. A lot of people don't know that there's actually 1 billion Catholics in the world. That's a lot of people. I think we just passed, or we're about to pass 7 billion people in the world. So 1 out of every 7 people that you meet on the street is actually Catholic.
Seth DeMoor, 1billionstories.com. I got to ask you personally, what was it that motivated you, Seth DeMoor, to do this pilgrimage?
To hop on my bike?
What was it?
I was lukewarm in my faith growing up. The first 20, 21 years of my life, even though I was, I went to all my CCD classes, and I had great teachers, but the faith never traveled from my head to my heart. It was stuck up there, and thankfully my family did go to Sunday Mass, but it was just going through the motions. Catholic calisthenics, the genuflecting and the sign of the cross, but no meaning behind it. So I went to college, and I was beginning to meet other young Catholics who are willing to share their faith with me, and not in a beat a Bible over my head, or evangelization in your face, like you got to go to Mass this weekend or else. It was just over coffee or at a local Irish pub, Connor O'Neill's in Boulder, Colorado. We would go out and we would just talk about anything Catholic, whether it's the saints or the recent encyclical that's been released. And so these stories that I was hearing at the University of Colorado just changed my life and inspired me to, these stories I'm hearing, they're too good for just me to hear. Wow. Somehow they need to be gathered and shared with as many people as possible, because they literally changed my life.
That's a great story
in college.
Yeah, that's very exciting, too, because today you hear about young people and how they react to the faith, and they're so busy, and yet you just tell this story about getting together. It's a fabric of their life, obviously. It's part of their being, which is exciting. Now, you've done, as you said, over 300 stories just on this ride. Some must have surprised you.
Yes, some definitely surprised me. Well, just an interesting situation is that a gentleman in the middle of the storytelling, he's like, "You want to see my eye?" I was like, "Do I want to see your eye? I can see it right now." He's like, "No, you want to see my eye."
This is going to be gross.
And boom, out comes his glass eye in the middle of the interview. So that was an interesting story. But the most interesting, the most inspiring story that I heard was from a young man. His name is Stephen. And he was raised Catholic, became a Buddhist, got into the New Age movement, and then fundamentalist Christian. And when I interviewed him about a year ago, he was in RCIA to be confirmed.
Well, that's great.
But just his conviction for the faith was incredible. And I experienced that all across the southern U.S. as I biked from Florida to Colorado.
It's evangelization, too. What you're really trying to do, in a sense, is what we are all called to do as Catholics, is to evangelize.
That's the call of our baptism. We're called to share the faith with everyone.
We're really looking forward to your series.
Thank you.
And people are going to be seeing more of you, Seth DeMoor. And because you're now part of the Catholic TV family, I have the official Catholic TV lapel pin.
Thank you very much. I'll put it on. I'll put it on right after the show.
And your website again is?
1billionstories.com with a B, O-N-E, billionstories.com, because there's 1 billion Catholics in the world. And we all have a story.
And if someone has a story, can they send you a story, too?
Absolutely. You can send it to Seth at 1billionstories.com. That's the email. Or right on the website, there's a tab that says Get Involved. Click on that, and you can submit your story idea, and then we'll archive it, and we'll come get it.
Here are your beads.
Thank you.
Well, let me tell you, it is an honor to have you with us. It's what you're doing for the church. You're a great example to young people and to older people, Father Reed and myself, of how we should live out our faith. So we appreciate it. We appreciate you using your talents, too, to show other people. That's a great thing. So
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.